I'll rate it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
Welcome back to another BS3MD's Doctales with Cocktails. Wednesday, a fabulous something. Look at this. Tim and I are here in the house with these wonderful Buc-ee's cups. You can't tell, but one is purple.
Made
One is green.
by Orca.
And there we go.
Because apparently orcas
Hold yours cup back here
like
away from
massive
the camera, and then you can see.
and gigantic.
Run to your local Buc-ee's and get yourself one of these fun insulated. They do come with lids. Oh, so beautiful. And they're holding the cocktail of the evening, which we will get to in a minute. But I want everyone to know that tonight's episode has got some health tips, but always filled with Tim's ridiculous stories of the week, including
Dolphins getting high by passing the pufferfish, which makes me so unbelievably happy.
and
While
no, don't keep getting. And what else? The other, just that's the name of the story. Just drop a carrot. Don't feed the.
why
whole
you should
tail.
always keep your seatbelt fastened on an airplane.
There you go.
There you go. And then some other things, some
and
hijinks.
the latest show coming out tomorrow, which
is
is a very different train of direction that we usually go. We have someone that disagrees with us on a topic that's dear to our heart. At first, I didn't really want to do that recording, and it ended up being a really great discussion. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But first, if you are a regular subscriber to our newsletter, you will have noticed there was no truth serum last week. Why, you may ask? I don't really have to answer that question, but I'll just say sometimes we all need rest and respite. And I was going to get to it. Things happened. Life ensued. No newsletter. It was our 32nd wedding anniversary, and we have not celebrated it yet. So here we are.
well, depends on how you define celebrate.
Well, two different wonderful brains with two different wonderful ideas, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
we have not gone out for dinner.
No, because people keep asking, how did you celebrate? Tim was gone on a boys trip, which we talked about last week, to Cape Hatteras, doing some kite surfing.
That's where I was.
I was at the beach by myself. And honestly, I think it shouldn't be a regular habit, but I think you want it to be. At least your friends do. So here we.
But it's interesting because one of my friends that goes regularly, his anniversary is kind of the same time as well. So the fact that we got married 32 years ago in an inconvenient time when it's windy in the Outer Banks, I don't know. Like, you got to figure out how that works.
Yeah, it's called Memorial Day weekend, and people were. I remember in Canada it was Memorial Day weekend.
No, it was the week before Memorial Day. It was.
I was going to say Memorial Day weekend isn't a thing in Canada, but it was the week before, and people were pissed off because we sucked up a long weekend.
Yeah, we did.
Because we got married on Sunday.
Yeah, correct. We got married on Sunday of Victoria Day is Monday, the next day. And because every Commonwealth country celebrates Victoria Day, honoring Queen Victoria, because everyone needs a holiday for a morbidly obese monarch.
Well, in Canada, they make long weekends every month of the year. Did you know that?
No, they don't.
Yes,
they make long weekends for every month in the summer, because the summer is 15 minutes long.
I believe there's a long weekend in every month of the year.
No, there could be.
I'm going to look that up.
Well, you're lazy, eh?
Meanwhile, that cup is very difficult to drink out of.
You just have to grip it.
No, it's not about the gripping. It's about the sipping. It has a very thick rim. So if you have a small mouth like me, I might spill it on my face. If you have a big mouth, it's easy to drink out of.
Look at me censoring myself in real time. Canadian long weekends. All right, let's get on.
All right, I just got to prove you.
You're going to prove me wrong?
Canada has several long weekends in 2024 that fall on Mondays, including, of course, New Year's Day. January. I guess February they don't have one.
Nope.
Hmm.
In the summer, there was
But they
no.
do in March
Yeah.
because it's Good Friday weekend. In April, it's Easter Monday. In May, it's Victoria Day. June,
Yeah, but
Saint John Baptiste Day.
yeah,
Quebec
that's some
only.
French bullshit. So who
Canada
cares?
Day in July, of course. And then August, they made up one civic holiday because they
it's
needed a long
August
weekend in the summer.
and it's a frozen hellscape most of the year, and you need to be able to get out when it's not freezing. So they made up it's generically civic holiday, but in each province it's different. Like there's Family Day. There, like what else is there?
No, I think it's
Family Day in Alberta and Saskatchewan, I think. Family Day.
Yeah, I don't know what they call it. And then they have the others. Labor
In
Day,
British Columbia, it's
Thanksgiving.
LGBTQ Spirit AII Family Day.
What's the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation? Some Canadians that are watching this will have to let us know.
I think that has to do with the Indian. I'm sorry, Native. They're not Native Americans. They're Native Canadians. I got the Canadian word. The Aboriginal.
First Nations.
Okay,
I don't remember.
I can't keep up with the political
because it changes every 10 years, and that's how
it's the first. I think it's the First Nations, like the whole business with the parochial schools and whatnot, where there was abuse or alleged abuse, et cetera, and so that's the Day of Reconciliation. So they got an extra day.
Indigenous people. There you go.
Yeah,
get it right.
So that's the right word now. Indigenous people.
Indigenous people.
I can't keep up.
First Nations is also another term.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. All right, Tim.
So are we the Second Nations then?
I think the French probably were the Second Nation. Who hit the shores next?
Yeah, I'm going to display my ignorance. I think the French were there before the British.
Jean Cabot.
Cabot.
You say Cabot, I say Cabot.
Yeah, but he was not French. He was British.
Jean Cabot.
John Cabot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
and then
Jacques Cartier was the first European to navigate the great entrance into Canada.
Yeah, through the St. Lawrence River.
But,
wow. We're going to bore people until they're like, you're driving me to drink because you're so freaking boring.
Changing the channel. All right. What have you got in funny stories of the week for us?
They're not that funny.
They're not?
Well, one is funny. One is kind of, a physical restraint. Here, I'll add it to the old Stage of Ruby. Please turn off electronic devices. And there you go. You got the...
Please buckle your seats,
Buckle
kids.
the seat belts because...
And it says turn off electronic devices and it has someone buckling up.
Right. So this is why...
What is that picture from? It looks with the 3 air vents to be an airplane.
It is in an airplane.
Aren't I astute? I'm like, what's his name? The British...
Sherlock Holmes.
I kept been having trouble with word finding all day today, and it wasn't when I was drinking either. It was before.
Maybe you weren't drinking enough.
No, it's maybe I.
That sometimes is the problem.
Need to sleep better. Anyway,
if not drinking is the problem, maybe it's I don't know. Okay.
So what's happening on the airplane now that we're showing us a slide of?
Oh, that's different. All right. So what happened was there was a flight, I think, from Singapore to London or vice versa. And the aircraft lost 6,000 feet in 5 minutes. Okay, so 6,000 feet in 5 minutes
sounds like a hell ride in Disney.
Yeah, it would be a hell ride in Disney because you would be dropping at, I would assume, about 70 miles an hour down. Okay, but you got to think of this: if you're sitting in an aircraft and you aren't seat belted in, and the plane drops 100 feet, just like in an air pocket, like just goes ka-chunk down 100 feet, right? That's the same if you're standing in the aisle as jumping off of a 100-foot building and being thrown into the ceiling of the aircraft. And so there was pictures from this where the luggage containers were like all indented from like this guy's head that died because he got thrown into the.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yes. So wear your seatbelt. Like it's so crazy. Like I remember this so vividly, like when I was skydiving, and we'd kind of make fun of it. We'd go, "We got to buckle up when we're taking off, blah, blah, blah." Right. So what happens in skydiving is this: you get on the airplane, you put the seatbelt on. And then as soon as you're at altitude where you can exit the aircraft safely, you immediately take it off. And the reason is if the plane gets in trouble, the way to save the aircraft and everyone's life is to get everybody out of the plane as fast as
So
possible,
you're telling us all
decrease the weight.
jump out with our parachute on, right?
Correct. But if you're climbing and you get in a crash, you want to have your seatbelt on, or if you have a sudden decrease in altitude. And when you think of this, airplanes fly
Yes.
close to 40,000 feet. So losing 100 or 200 feet in a matter of a second or whatever is not that hard to do. But you are literally an ice cube in a martini shaker if that happens. So BS free MD, free tip of the week. When you're sitting in your seat and you're sleeping, watching a movie, whatever, buckle up, buttercup.
Wow, that's really sad. According to the article, it was wasn't it an elderly person that died? I can't remember.
I think he was in his 60s. Sorry, kids, that's not elderly anymore.
Yeah, one passenger, 71 people were injured. One passenger died, 71 injured. But yeah, that would be horrible.
Well, and then you think of the cases of injury and how profoundly injured you could be in those situations, and you have to deal with this at altitude.
No kidding.
And you have to, there's no medical personnel. There's virtually, if I'm the medical personnel, I'm probably 3 gin and tonics deep, so I'm not really medical personnel.
Of course you are.
And then you have nothing to do.
I'm looking at the picture it's posted online, and look at in this aircraft. There is stuff all over the place. I mean, of course, the wine bottles on the floor, coffee pot, those containers that the flight attendants have that hold everything are just flown.
Well, those
flown out
the
of
the little
drawers.
like
Amazing.
those. Can you imagine the little wheeled cart things that have the drinks and stuff in them? If that thing is flying, the equivalent of throwing that bad boy off of 100-story, like 100-foot building, it's unbelievable. It's why the tray tables need to come up when you land, because if you go forward, you're going to explode your chest into the tray table. Why am I so obsessed?
You're gonna cut yourself in half.
Yeah.
So
I'm so obsessed
been
with
a lot of this on the news lately. Have you noticed that?
The turbulence.
Lots of
Injuries,
turbulence, accidents, reports of turbulence on flights. I saw in the news. I had the TV on yesterday. Was it yesterday? About United Airline. Well, they hadn't even taken off. They caught on fire. But then they were talking about turbulence, injuring people. So guess what, kids? Global warming again, causing a lot more. So they ascribe it to global warming.
Of course,
there's a lot more episodes of planes and reported injuries with turbulence because of air pockets. And I must say, we've been on a lot of flights recently, and I've had to freaking, I would say I'm always buckled up, but there's always turbulence on every flight I fly now, it seems.
Yeah, and on my birthday, she's even more sorry. Oversharing.
No.
So, no, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. I think this is complete and total horseshit. I think that airplanes lose. I think it's amazing that aircraft this doesn't happen every 2 weeks. But it's a convenient narrative We only hear what they want us to hear. This is like the shark attacks 20 years ago, where they had like the Newsweek or Time magazine, and it was just all sharks in South Florida. And when you actually broke the data down, there was no more shark attacks than there normally is. They want you scared shitless doing something that everyone does, which is fly an airplane, so that they can get the climate agenda out there. So the fact of the matter is, I don't know that there's more turbulence or not. There may be, there may not be. But the solution is always don't drive an SUV. Oh, that's right. But AI is going to take over. AI, the biggest energy sucking pig in the history of energy sucking pigs. That's the future. But somehow you have to build nuclear power plants next to Amazon's server farm AI thing because it sucks up so much freaking energy. That gets a pass. But you poor, stupid Rube American can't drive your like Chevy Tahoe or your Ford F-150 because you're a greedy. I was going to say a word that may have rhymed with whatever. You can't do that. You can't do that because that's bad. But that's China can build a coal plant every 2 weeks and like puke God knows what into the air. And that's fine.
But you got to do your part.
Yeah, my part is ranting and telling these guys that they're full of crap. Yeah. That's my part.
So if you look it up, it says a study published.
Okay, when I see a study published as the first thing, literally diarrhea is squirting out of my ears because I know it's full of.
Look it up everywhere. It's all points to climate change. And listen to this.
Okay, when it all points to climate change, by definition, it's horse shit.
I know, but I just gotta feed the beast. A study published last year found evidence of large increases in clear air turbulence between 1979 and 2020. In some locations, severe turbulence increased by as much as 55%, worsening.
1979? When staying alive, Yep. Are you freaking kidding me?
Nope, I am not.
And plus, how can you tell anything about climate change, which is supposed to be 13 billion years old, by like a not even a 40-year-old study or 50-year-old study? It'd be a 45-year-old study. It's like, seriously, they're lying. You're being manipulated. It's complete horse shit. Listen to our show, pour a drink, and wear your freaking seatbelt. Look at that. I have solved so. I might have just saved your life.
Apparently, because they tag birds and follow the migration of birds, this all relates back to biology. Get this. Meteorologists are seeking help through birds forecasting winds and turbulence, and animal movements help us determine the strength of thermal updrafts. Yeah, for real. And it follows their
So did they put a tracker, like an RFID chip in the bird or something? Like, how do they know?
Well, we know that they do that because biologists follow birds' migration north and south all the time. And so they've actually studied how birds respond to turbulence, and with tagging them. So, yeah. So recently they've actually noticed increases in that as well. So it's not just reports on airlines. Yeah.
They put the chip in the bird's cloaca. And if you don't know what a cloaca is.
Well, they don't put it in its ear like a cow because they don't have one. So.
Well, they have ears. They just don't have an auracle.
Anyway, next time that we encounter turbulence, remember to put a lid on your cocktail. But no.
And buckle up.
Tim doesn't need to put a lid on his cocktail because A, they don't provide lids, and B,
they don't last that long.
He's drank it already.
Understood. All right, story.
Moving along.
Story, to quote the Canadians, number 2. Dolphins pass pufferfish around because apparently it gets them high. So the most
What gets them high? Passing the pufferfish?
no.
The pufferfish get them high?
Okay, do you understand? Do you know what toxin pufferfish make?
Yeah, it's a tetrodotoxin.
I love you so much. I'm just that is turning
You just
me
like my
on.
brain
I do. Right, exactly.
and the other two large things on my body.
Yeah, correct. So tetrodotoxin is the most, I believe, the most potent neurotoxin, like ounce for ounce, molecule for molecule, of any toxin to humanity. Right. So there was a great Simpson episode.
More than
Botulinum
snakes.
toxin. Botulinum toxin is very close. So tetrodotoxin is amazing because like they had the Simpsons episode where they were going to eat the pufferfish.
Yes, I remember that one.
Yeah. Okay. So if it's on the Simpsons, you know it's true. So
no, if it's on South Park, you know it's true.
well, I don't know, man. I think there's some prophetic
I think so.
crossovers.
But anyway, get back to
so apparently in dolphins at very low doses, tetrodotoxin.
You can't even say it
Tetrodotoxin.
because he's blued out, and I will get to why
so
he's blued out.
Tetrodotoxin at low doses in dolphins is essentially ketamine. It's a hallucinogen. So they have witnessed
Really?
these. Yes. So the
So
dolphin.
it's totally like a ketamine trip.
Correct. So what happens is the dolphins pass the pufferfish around. No, there's video of this.
Literally.
No, it's like it's a freaking blunt. Like it's a joint.
It's a bomb.
And they pass the pufferfish around. And then there's video of the dolphins after this activity of, getting poked and prodded by this poor pufferfish who's obviously scared, absolutely shitless, of them just laying there completely blissed out, stoned as hell. The dolphins
laying there.
Well, they got to have the blowhole out or whatever, and they're like literally like in this state of euphoria because they got pufferfished.
They got puffed.
But not only that, okay. The name of the fish is the pufferfish, and they're passing the pufferfish like a joint. And you tell me, you atheist scum, that there's no God. That is the greatest proof, not only that there is a deity, but that he has an amazing sense of humor.
Seriously, like I'd never
dolphins
heard
get
of
high
that before, but now that you're
passing
saying
pufferfish.
I'm actually seeing photos online of some dolphins with this. That's totally for real.
It turns flipper into tripper.
Oh, you're funny.
Yes, I will be at the Holiday Inn Fort Myers all week this week.
And maybe
they call him Tripper Bastard. Dude, that's funny shit right there. They call him Tripper.
Well, that's the only thing that's made me laugh this week. I think maybe you should do that to supplement income for this podcast.
Can you imagine? Like Holiday Inns used to have bars. Now, and then you could be a cheesy comedian or musical act. But you can't do that anymore because they don't.
Maybe
they've
there's
taken
a
away
casino around. You could be the.
There's a giant casino in Tampa. I could go up there.
Be the headliner.
That's right.
That's pretty funny. Okay,
Flipper to Tripper, and Flipper was from South Florida. He's from Key West.
I
remember that.
How did you remember that?
Because every single memory from basically 2 years old to 15 is pretty much a didactic. It's there.
I shouldn't have asked the question. I should have just trusted because.
Now, will I remember the shit I said on the show tomorrow morning or in 25 minutes? Probably not.
Yeah.
But 1978, locked in.
And that's the brain I have to live with.
It is.
But you're wrong. The most potent neurotoxin
is botulinum toxin.
Is bont.
Yeah, I said that. I said I wasn't sure if it was tetrodotoxin or botulinum toxin.
Yeah.
So
Produced by which bacteria?
that's salmonella.
No.
No, it's botulism. It's botulinum. It's
Clostridium. Yes, botulism.
Clostridium
Clostridium
botulinum
botulinum.
or whatever. Yeah.
And you get that from soil, water, plants, and the intestinal tracts of animals. And
In other words, horseshit.
and it's really actually bad. Can lead to facial paralysis and then death in some cases. They've even calculated the lethal dose,
Is not much.
well, which depends on the exposure, but it is not much. 30 nanograms
Orally. That's not IV. 30 nanograms. So nano is 1,000th of a gram.
Yeah.
30 nanograms if you eat it.
Inhaled 0.8, IV 0.09, like even less, obviously.
And it's a shitty death because you literally are just paralyzed and can't breathe, and you're aware, and you just can't breathe and die because you can't breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Sounds wonderful.
Yes. Clostridium is amazing because there's a lot of, like there's, C. diff, Clostridium difficile, that you get an overgrowth in your gut and tries to kill you. And there's a Clostridium tetani, which is tetanus, which also is harbored in horse poop, which is why that people think that a rusty nail gives you tetanus, is because horses would poop thousands, actually tens of thousands or hundreds or millions of pounds of poop a day in the cities of like New York City, Boston, etc. And the horseshoe nails would come out of their feet because you're walking on cobblestones, and then you got poked with a horseshoe nail and you got tetanus. So that's where the misbelief that the rusty nail gives you tetanus. It's not. It's the horseshit nail that gives you tetanus.
Right.
Which is fascinating.
So since we were talking about botulinum toxin,
Which is Botox.
it's Botox.
Which I clearly have not had.
So isn't it fascinating that we haven't heard of anybody being killed by Botox yet? I wonder how much Botox you'd have to get. I'd have to look that up to die.
Yeah, the problem is I think it'd be really easy to figure out that you got poisoned by Botox because it's an awful death. It's paralysis. You can't breathe. I think if you're going to kill somebody with an injectable, it's way better to use insulin because your blood sugar goes to basically zero, and then you just have a seizure and die. And it's like, what happened? I don't know. That's what Kitty von Bülow did to Klaus von Bülow, which was the insulin. I don't know how they figured it out. I mean, that was back in the 1982, 1983. So,
here you go. Someone calculated this. This is stuff that's fun to figure out because it's a toxin, a neurotoxin, and everybody's freaked out. I just think of people giving. I saw somebody that got way too much lidocaine one time, and you can give lethal doses of lidocaine for numbing up lacerations. But but that
you got to try really hard.
Try really hard. I'm side bunny trail. I was helping my sister learn how to suture when I was up in Canada. We were having fun. I think I posted some pictures, and we were suturing chicken breasts because that was all we could find. But she was told not to give more than how many cc's to numb up the patient. It was like one syringe, so 10 cc's per wound. And I'm like,
no, it doesn't matter.
Girlfriend, you ain't gonna provide adequate enough pain relief for someone if you only give.
Well, it depends how big the wound is, right? I mean, it's exceedingly unusual.
But you could give a lot.
If you use 1% instead of 2% lidocaine, then you have the.
That's boring people to details. The thing was that I told her the dose is massive that you could inject to give somebody to numb up wounds with local anesthetic. I mean, remember that there's somebody with some deep gash that I was learning how to suture on when I was a resident, and it was like a leg wound, and I just kept pouring it in there. I mean, nothing happened. But for Botox, there is a timeout. So if you're going in and you're getting your wrinkles released, and I think this might reach the maximum calculated
No, like if
dose.
I went in and I said I want like my forehead and my eye wrinkles reduced,
Okay.
they would just look at you and they go, "You're gonna die."
So here's the dose. Are you ready?
Yep.
Most people, I wouldn't say most, but commonly to get your forehead, crow's feet done, it's about 20 units. Okay. You can do a little around here. I haven't done that Botox thing for about a year and a half. As you can tell. See, look at that. Anyway, most people, 20 units, 40 would be a lot, and you'd feel like you have the flu unless you have I don't know, high tolerance. The lethal dose for a person of 70 kilograms, which is
About 155 pounds.
25 to 100 to 3,000 units.
Whoa. 2,500 units?
2,500 units. So if you weigh,
Okay, but here's the thing that's super crazy.
if you weigh, or even just under 200 pounds, and you get 2,500 units. You'd be.
No, but that's what's so crazy.
It's
but,
a really high.
But it tells you how
dose.
potent it is. Okay, like they reduce this to units because they dilute it like crazy, right? But yet it's what was it, like 8 nanograms, 8,000ths of a gram is lethal if you eat it. Okay, but you would need 25,000 units to kill you. But yet,
no, 2,500.
2,500 units to kill you. Yet 20 units reduces your wrinkles because your face is so freaking paralyzed. It tells you how unspeakably potent that is.
So
1,000
times the dose that most people get.
Yes.
I mean, not 1,000.
Right.
100 times. Sorry, 100 times the dose that most people get.
No, that is so nuts how toxic that is. Like it's so completely crazy. Like when you think of that, like when you think of milligram per milligram, how toxic like that is. It's like, and what do we use it for? Vanity. It's like, holy moly.
Quite frightening.
No, it is. Like yes. But again, it proves Paracelsus correct, ancient French physician. The difference between the poison and the cure is the dose. Speaking of poisons and cures, what are we drinking? Well, I'm going to finish that back.
This is a now empty special bottle that I
Well, we
found
did make drinks for the
locally
neighbors.
from Total Wine, but it is something from Florida, of course. Harry Blues, that's BLU, vodka, crafted in Miami. And cute bottle, little square, head smasher right there. It's a weapon. But this is from the finest grains.
You said blues, not balls, correct?
Harry Blue, BLU.
Okay.
This is the Swamp edition. There's a regular edition. And
what makes it the Swamp edition?
The distiller is Harry Bluestein. I looked. There's a regular edition, a Swamp edition. I can't remember. It was the same price. It's supposed to be, I don't know, a little more exotic. It didn't say. I just grabbed it because I thought if it's Swamp edition, it's right up your alley.
It is. Because I have my Come and Go Liquors.
There you go.
Collared shirt on from Real Kiteboarding, which is a store in Waves, North Carolina. Like there's literally a place called Waves.
Well, you should live there. All right. Moving along, I found a fun tidbit of news information for you that now, if you want to have cleaner gum health, that you should be using matcha extract mouthwash to fight gum disease causing bacteria. So not only are you going to Starbucks now to drink your matcha green tea, you're going to swish it around in your mouth to prevent periodontal disease.
Right. And your teeth are green. Your teeth are green, but your gums are delicious.
So not the sugary matchas that you get there. But yeah, matcha they did some study, I say it again, studies. It as a mouthwash could actually reduce the amount of bacteria that causes periodontitis. It actually does a lot for your health. Matcha is known to impact cardiovascular health. It's also good for cognition, preventing cancer, preventing diabetes, and autoimmune uveitis, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to get the pure form of Japanese matcha. Make sure that it isn't concocted with a lot of other fillers, cheap ingredients. So check what your matcha. So matcha you can actually mix. So it's basically a green tea extract. People drink it as a tea. They mix it sometimes with
every time I hear multiple claims from the next thing, it's weed cures cancer. I put it in the weed cures cancer column.
Think about it.
It's like weed cures everything. Weed cures cancer.
It's a naturally occurring plant. Okay. And like other plants and herbs in the world, like aspirin, for instance, Digitalis plant.
Not like aspirin hasn't killed anybody.
But it also has some beneficial properties. Okay.
Right. But it could do this and it could do that. And it could cause a monkey to fly out of your ass too. So, this is where as much as
they found that there's properties in there that kill bacteria.
Yes, it's probably good in your mouth. I get that. But I just, my bullshitometer starts redlining when I'm
yeah, I'm not gonna
it's just
use it as a mouthwash. No, thank you. I will just stick to my regular Tom's brand.
Yes.
That's kind of reminiscent.
If cat shit worked to prevent
stop.
I have toxoplasmosis.
But
my teeth are, well, they're not minty fresh, but my gums unbelievably healthy.
There's lots of people, I should say, that do that oil pulling. Do you know what that is?
Oil pulling?
Oil pulling. So
I assume if you do it a whole bunch of times, you go blind. But other than that, I have no idea.
No, you put coconut oil extract, a teaspoonful in your mouth, and you're supposed to swish it around for about a minute. And it's supposed to help cleanse your teeth, help periodontal disease, whiten your teeth, and then you can gargle with it. And it's supposed to be very beneficial. I thought you had heard of that.
No, and then there's cleansing enemas, and there's
good for your dental health, your fresh breath. It kills microbes. No, you're not buying it. Clearly, I need to get you some.
No, I honestly, maybe, and this is where I'm with BioLane, which is like some of the stuff just has to be really studied because it's like, well, there's a potential that it whatever. Well, it doesn't mean anything, right? Like it's like exercise. Exercise raises your blood pressure. It raises your heartbeat. It raises your cortisol. It raises all your stress hormones in the short term. In the long term, it's wildly beneficial. But if you're like literally a day from a heart attack and you go for a run, statistically, you're going to die exercising.
Exactly.
So you kind of have to, it just like, again, like it's like climate change, climate's change. I get that. Right. Like I get that, but the problem is never the problem. It's always the solution. And the solution is always the same, which is communism.
No. Okay. Whoa. How did we go from oil pulling to it being communism?
Because what I'm saying is they tease you with these little things. And then I'm not saying oil pull is communism. I'm saying the climate change solution is always communism, right? It's like, give the elites more power. Oh, and what have you fucked up lately? I don't know. Everything.
Okay.
How does that go?
Well,
so then you give these little nuggets of truth, right? Well, the matcha might kill bacteria, it might whatever. Well, I don't know that you want to kill bacteria in your mouth. Maybe your mouth is part of your microbiome, because clearly it is. Maybe what you want in your mouth is the best bacteria. And that's the point. Like, you don't know. So it kills bacteria, and maybe your gums are a little bit less inflamed. But maybe you want your gums slightly chronically inflamed because that seeds your microbiome, which makes you less of a dipshit. I don't know.
Somehow I don't think that.
Well, no, but that's the point. I don't think, like, you don't know. Like, we started with germ theory. So germs are bad. Well, no, they're not. Actually, in totality of every germ that exists, in other words, every bacteria and every virus, they're overwhelmingly better than they are harmful. But the harmful ones, they're real dickheads, and they cause all sorts of problems. They cause, tetanus and polio and all of these infectious diseases. But then, so then we get germ theory, and it's like germs bad, kill everything, sterilize the world. No. You don't want to live in a sterilized world. It's impossible to live in a sterilized world. You want to live in a world where the microbiome of all of your ecosystem is balanced.
Yes, but we don't want.
And so we don't know. It's like something kills bacteria. Like literally, we have been advertising Listerine and Lysol and all of this shit for 50 to 60 years of killing bacteria because that's good. No, eating bacteria is actually way better for you if you eat the right bacteria.
Well, maybe we should agree to invite Dr.
Sabine Hazen.
Dr. SH back on to talk about
with a cocktail, because I want to see
periodontal disease, or maybe she knows somebody that could talk about the connection to the mouth gut microbiome, and
that I want to know.
Mouthwash is a bad idea. There you go, Sabine. I'm posing that question.
I have read.
I think we could do a whole show.
I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but I have read.
Clearly,
where certain
you think mouthwash is a bad idea.
Sexual proclivities that require your mouth actually enhance your microbiome.
Oh my gosh. You have read that where? In Playboy magazine?
Studies say.
In Playboy. All right.
Studies say.
We are done with this topic. Big T
out. And
little
T. It wasn't.
All right.
Men, it was women.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm just saying, I didn't say anything bad. I can still go to Bible study next week and they can go.
No, I don't think you can. Go back to work and make some money. And stop talking.
I don't know if I want to be friends with
What's
you.
on the podcast tomorrow?
Jonathan Howard, a very gracious person,
Yes,
very nice man, who in 100% totally disagrees with us with regards to the COVID vaccine. I didn't say it. Completely disagrees. And this was an interesting experience because basically what it was is let's learn to listen to people that disagree with us. We didn't get into your study sucks, my study's good, beating the hell out of each other with studies or whatever. We just tried to have a dialogue, and we did. And it was actually really fun. And I think he respected us for who we are, and we totally respected him for who he is. And, we need way more of that if we're going to save the country. You have to be willing to listen to the other side, to be gracious, to listen first, to speak last, and to understand that sometimes you just agree to disagree, and that's completely, totally fine. So tomorrow is different. It is a different one. But it turned out really well. I was really proud of what we did. And I mean.
Yeah. And, I just throw that back at him and say, thank you so much for being also, gracious, respectful. When you have adults having a conversation, then you get to hear what it was like. We disagreed.
Can you imagine?
Nobody
that?
Freaked out. We were like, and this goes to the whole thing of, when you talk to somebody face to face, albeit, we're not in person because it is via video camera, you can have a dialogue where you disagree and treat the other person with respect, and it's all wonderful. Although, if you go to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and you get into a little fight,
That's right,
because you're not talking to anybody except
then
words on a page, and you get into a Twitter fight.
I love that.
And you know what? I've been so guilty of doing that.
You are the
Standing
stupidest doctor in the
cause.
world, and you should not have a license. That's my personal favorite. I'm like, really? I've done this. I have completely changed. You know what? When I was a dipshit doctor, a little tiny baby doctor working like 2 years into my career, I 100% agreed with you. And then I saw 5,000 patients a year for 32 years, and now I disagree with you. So who do you want to trust? Seriously, like some guy that like just hears the narrative and reproduces it, or somebody that's actually seen a gajillion patients and changed their mind?
Anyway.
Who's more honest?
And I'm going to say that our discussion was much more civilized than what you see on the news channels where people are talking
Yeah, but
politics
that's
and
a- that-
disagree.
no,
I
that's-
think it's all that's all for
No,
show.
that's all theater.
Anyway.
You know, like if you think Rachel Maddow or Sean Hannity is an honest broker of the truth, it's an act.
I'm thinking of more
It's theater.
other shows. Anyway.
Yeah, because what I want to do,
Tune in.
what I want to do is not be stressed and sit down and watch people yelling at each other. Like, how does that solve any problem?
All right, so tune in tomorrow. Truth bomb dropped, and it might have
Today,
been,
it did. It did.
It
I
might have
checked.
been a little bit different, off the cuff. That's all I'm going to say.
That was good.
Check
No,
it out.
I think it was good. And Jonathan tomorrow again. The thing that's crazy about that interview is we 100% agreed on the overarching principles of what we were trying to do in medicine, and we 100% disagreed on how to get there. That's how you make America great again. Is you agree on the overarching principles and you debate the roadmap. Okay, so I want to go from Los Angeles to Chicago. How are we going to get there? Let's look at the map. Let's beat the living crap out of each other over the map, not whether going to Los Angeles to Chicago is what we want to do. We agree on that. We disagree on how we get there. That is freedom. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's eye-opening. It's all of the things that we want.
Well, and that we should be able to have in medicine,
yes,
and anywhere else. And so I will drink to that. For now, BS Free MD Doctales with Cocktails is out. Got to visit family, and we will see you all next time.